In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. Huh. Okay. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts. Not really, I can make the time go pretty fast with just me head. So I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word. A foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. Huh. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently I've had it a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Well, shit. Girl does that to you? Hell, that's bad times, man. Bad times. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better? Nah. More appreciative of my life? Unlikely. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages. What? Hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to disguise everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a what? Man, how much of this stuff did I skip over and miss? Of course, there wasn't a cure. It's arrhythmia. Shit happens, man. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. Eh? For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get well cards began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only person I had gotten so many cards and flowers... What? Oh, I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathies and had turned into a class project. Well, that's kind of just stupid. If you don't really want to send a card, don't send a card, man. Sending it because you're being told to, that's just wrong. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had any visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital. It's not really a place I'd like to live in. God, who would want to live there? The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they are so hurried that they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change in its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. Huh? I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answers shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Huh. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. Huh, that's weird. It's a weird word. Escapism? How often do you hear people say that? I started reading instead. There was a small library at the school, although it was more like a restroom for books. What? Oh, storeroom. Restroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. I love the stories. So do I. That's why I'm doing this. I like stories. I think I ranted about that in Warhammer a bit. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I paused in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set for myself. The pages of the book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Man, this first part is so boring. Whew. Today the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's only been a few days since I last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? Certainly not a party. There is this ritual the head archaeologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers, then sets them aside as if to make a point of pointlessness of what he had just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Hello, Hisao. How are you today? I didn't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medication sorted out. I'll give you a photo of the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hands and take a look myself. Feeling numb, how am I supposed to react to this? The disturbing long list of meds staring back at me from the paper seem insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. Damn, that's a lot of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contraindications, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it, attempting to only make me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life, every day. I'm afraid this is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so it wouldn't be a surprise that this list fades over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he didn't have said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it, and I'm going to be homeschooled. Whatever of my concern shows it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that the medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamako Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Wait? It has a 24-hour nursing staff. It's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. Its majority of students live on the campus. I think it is a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help regularly. Independence is a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital nearby being a selling point. Of course, that's only what if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to go to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks ago. I think you'd like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people in your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. I probably could have put more rage into those words. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, the special cool, that's an insult. That is what I wanted to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All of the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still go around and learn, but just need a little help, in one way or another. Your father's right. Many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disabilities. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me, but what can I do? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny, I had always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest, I want to blame this lack of reaction of shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now. Something about how I can go back to school anyway, but no. I didn't say anything. The fact is that I know it's futile. I look around the room feeling very tired all of a sudden. The hospital doctors, my condition, anything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice, I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. The clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think of to get through this. At least I have something, even if it's a special school. It's something. It's a fresh start. My life isn't over. It would be a mistake if it just resigned myself to thinking that. At least the very best, I'll try to see what new life I'm going to look for. The screen goes white. Music ensues. Life expectancy. Gates made of iron surrounded by bricks.